the British wage, not so much a salary as it is a polite suggestion. Despite living in one of the world's biggest economies, the average UK worker has spent the last 2 decades watching their pay packet stretch less than a budget airline seat. Real wages, adjusted for inflation, peaked around 2008 and then collectively gave up. Since then, they flatlined with all the energy of a damp crumpet. Sure, your payslip might say you're earning more than you did 10 years ago, but after rent, energy bills and your weekly therapy session at Tesco's meal deal aisle, you're worse off. Funny how inflation rises faster than your manager's enthusiasm for Zoom calls, isn't it? So what happened? Let's roll it back to the 1980s. Margaret Thatcher was doing her thing, smashing unions like they were empty gin bottles and pushing free market economics with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Trade unions, once the main force keeping wages fair, were politically kneecapped. Fewer strikes meant less bargaining power, and so began the era of flexibility, where employers got all the flexibility and workers got, well, experience. Jump ahead to the early 2000s. Tony Blair's Labour government oversaw economic growth, yes, but real wage growth. Not so much. Most of the gains went straight to the top. The top 1% were making bank, while the rest were encouraged to feel grateful for a frozen pizza and a rented shoebox. Then came 2008, the global financial crisis. Banks collapsed, governments bailed them out, and workers got austerity. "We're all in this together," said millionaire politicians while slashing public sector pay, freezing wages and blaming nurses for the national debt. And somehow, that decade of wage suppression never really stopped. Since then, the gig economy has blossomed, or more accurately metastasized, into every part of the workforce. 0-hour contracts, self-employed delivery drivers, and the expectation to always be available, but never secure. It's like capitalism got lazy and decided job titles should come with less money and more hustle. Even when the economy recovered, wages didn't. Corporate profits soared while wages stagnated, a bit like watching someone else eat your birthday cake while telling you it's a team effort. CEOs are earning hundreds of times what the average worker makes, and they say it's justified because they're creating value, which apparently means attending 3 Zoom calls and nodding a lot. Meanwhile, productivity, that favourite government buzzword, has been weaponized against workers. You're not productive enough, they say, while giving you a malfunctioning printer, 5 job roles for the price of 1, and a chair from 1992. Ironically, UK workers are some of the most productive in Europe. We just don't get paid for it. In fact, if wage growth had matched productivity since the 1980s, you'd be earning enough to afford heating and a Pret sandwich. Imagine the decadence. Oh, and let's not forget inflation. That lovely force that makes a Freddo cost more than your childhood self could ever comprehend. Wages have simply not kept up. You earn more on paper, yes, but your money buys less. Energy bills, rent, food, all up. Your salary? Still waiting on that 2% increase that was generously called a pay rise but doesn't even cover the cost of your commute. Then there's the regional problem. Wages in London look all right until you realise it costs £900 a month to rent a cupboard. Meanwhile, jobs in other regions, the North, Wales, the Midlands, pay less and offer even fewer opportunities for advancement. The result? A nation of overqualified, underpaid workers wondering why their English degree only qualifies them to write passive-aggressive emails. What about the minimum wage? Introduced in 1999, it was revolutionary. Now, it's basically the default. Employers boast about competitive salaries that miraculously match the legal minimum. Plus, age-based wage brackets still exist, which means an 18-year-old doing the same job as a 22-year-old gets paid less because... reasons? So, who benefits from all this? Large corporations certainly. Government stats that look better when inflation-adjusted wages are ignored? Definitely. And landlords, always landlords. Low wages mean more people rent, and rent is rising, creating a lovely circular economy where you earn just enough to hand it back to someone richer. Solutions? Radical thought. We could strengthen trade unions again, implement sector-wide pay agreements, raise the minimum wage to an actual living wage, enforce pay transparency so you know your boss earns 12 times what you do for twice the lunch breaks. But don't hold your breath. Reform moves slower than an inland revenue queue. Until then, the UK remains a nation of hard-working people getting paid in exposure, good vibes, and the occasional birthday cake in the break room. Thanks for watching Study Sphere.